Welcome back to the channel. Today I have a video that a lot of you have been asking for a very long time. Now my YouTube channel is just about 11 years old, and this was in the background in one of the very early on videos, and a lot of people wanted to know what it was. Well, if you know your GMG bodies, you know it is a Malibu wagon, and you might just want to know the year. It is an 82 Malibu wagon, but it's not exactly stock. So I built this car back when I was like 16. So it's been sitting here ever since. It's the only vehicle, it's the longest I've ever owned a vehicle. So it's actually been in this corner, I think, since 2011 maybe. So 14 years. Let's see if we can get it out of here and get it running. And then I'll show you around and why it's not stock. First, we need to dig it out because it's become a shelf. And actually, for 14 years, I have to say I did pretty good at not stacking too much stuff on it. Surprised you can even see it, because before it was here, it used to be on the other side of the garage, and I was only there for about 8 years and you couldn't even see it in the corner. So if you're worried about the gas not being good because it sat for 14 years, I got bad news for you. I think the gas in here is about 2 decades old. So let's see if it starts. Guess we'll start at the back and work our way forward. This is recent stuff. It's actually our Mustang parts. I don't know what I might do with them. I didn't plan this out all that well. Now I know what we're going to do with them. All right, get this whole stack off of here. Wheel liner from my Porsche days, and a fender. Go with the wheel liner. Also from my Porsche days. That's a lot of undercoating in there, and they still rusted. Not this one though. Grand Am headlight. Who would have thought I'd have Grand Am parts up here? Grand Am cruise control. And that's going in the pile. I got a stack of those. And floor mats. Whole set. Some carpeting. It's for the back of the cab on a GMT 800. Seat. Yep, you guessed it. Grand Am. Door panel. Any guesses? Did you guess Grand Am? Well, you're right. And this isn't a game show. And the rest of the seat. Window regulator, broken in the pile. Also for a Grand Am. Window trim, Grand Am, in the pile. License plate covers. More window regulators. This is actually for a GMT 800. It's not broken. We'll save that. Did you guess Kia parts? Never thought you'd find those up there. Hood cable, Grand Am. Kia. Actually the padding for a GMT 800. I'm just burying the car in the corner in case you were wondering. Michigan? Grand Am.
You know, at car shows where they're unveiling new cars, supercars, or show cars, and they pull that silk car cover off of it? Well, this is just like that, except for poor people. It's the Timu version.
All right, we got Grand Am wiring harnesses. More Grand Am window trim for SEs in the pile. AC line, accumulator for a Grand Am. More wiring harnesses Got some carpeting for a terrain. Got a little mix of everything back here. Door glass, Grand Am. More Grand Am window trim. Taillight harness for a GMT 800. Taillight harness, or what's left of it for a Grand Am. There's a taillight. I wonder if this goes with the harness. That window motor in the pile. I don't know if it works, so. We got a dog leg for a Grand Am, a little rusty, so that's going in the pile. Looks like I've had some friends over here. Some G6 seats. These were actually just a cushion in case I backed up too far. Lots of bolts. Grand Am compressor. Terrain parts. Probably going in the pile along with all these. Red Solo cup. Grand Am power steering pump with 11,000 miles on it. Spare tire hoist. I remember this came from a theft recovery in the pile. Skid plate. There's all kinds of treasures under here. All right, I have to put some air in the tires now. At least two. That side is up against the wall. See if we can dig out the back of this thing. A door panel for a GMT 800. All right, you can kind of see it. I believe you have my stapler.
Yeah, I believe you have my stapler.
And that tire's flat. All right, let's get the tires full.
I guess I really shouldn't be complaining. The car has been sitting for all of these years, and the tires are only flat on the bottom. With a little air in that left rear tire, we're able to slide our jack underneath the diff. And then we'll spin it over to the side so that we can annoy the tool experts for rolling our car around on our jack. And probably figure out the reason our jack doesn't roll all that well anymore. What is enough to move it over so I can at least get a little air in that other tire if I have to.
In case you're wondering, I drove that in.
It's a good thing I didn't actually eat breakfast so I can fit between the wall and the car. I got in there. No guarantees I'm getting out. So if you don't see any videos for a while, just come get me. So with parking brake in hand, we'll see if we can roll this thing back a little bit so I can open the hood. I rolled it forward underneath that bar in the back with the pallet racking. There's flat spots in the tires, so we're just gonna kind of roll it and move our parking brake along so it doesn't roll back to its original spot. It wants to stay on the flat spots of the tires. By a sheer stroke of luck, that right front tire had the most air of any of the four tires, so it's a little bit easier to roll since it's not totally flat, but still a struggle because it is low. We got enough room to cram ourselves in here between the wall and the car. Give it a good shove. Use our parking brake Got a little more room to wedge ourselves in here, so one good push and we should be able to open our hood up again. Reset our parking brake. And we got our hood open. Of course it won't stay up, so our parking brake is now going to be repurposed as a hood prop. The hood does stay up, it's on springs, but it needs to go all the way up to stay up.
We have our top-down JS 3000 jumper, and we know it'll start a 6-year-old Grand Am, or at least one's been sitting for 6 years. Let's see if it'll start a car that's been sitting for 14. And if it does, and you're impressed, head down to the description. Link for this is down there. I disconnected the battery, but I don't think that would have saved it all these years. So let's reconnect the battery and start there. It has a date code of 2000. 25-year-old battery, think it's good? Probably better than the one I'm gonna go pick up. And I'm guessing it is completely dead since we did not hear the alarm. This has an alarm. The battery's dead in the alarm. Alright, jumper pack gave up. Try it again.
Quite the collection of dirt underneath the car. I've been storing it up for years, saving it for a special occasion. I think I'm going to put it on all the clean parts just to annoy the clean freaks. Pretty dry under here for sitting for all those years. I guess you can't have a lot of oil leaks when there's no oil in the car. Modern problems require modern solutions. We'll fill up our last tire here. And remind me to check the oil a little bit later. So that is a stock engine, just not stock in this car. Do you know what it came out of? I'll let you know in a second, but go ahead and leave your guesses down below.
As you might have been able to tell from the sound of the car when I started it, it is definitely not the original 3.8 that this thing came with. Nope, that died a tragic milkshakey death, as most of them did way back in the day. Actually, it had a rebuilt motor in it. That's how common this is, because the first one died a milkshakey death, and the rebuilt motor also died a milkshakey death. So the engine left, so did the transmission. It was a 200 something old. So what's in here now is an L98, which is out of an 86 Corvette. It's a 5.7 two-port injection with aluminum heads. It also is backed by a 700 R4 trans that when I had it all out, I had it built up a little bit, so it does have a shift kit in it, and it will trip the tires through at least third gear. Now, I built this thing so long ago, fuel injection swaps weren't even cool then. There were no aftermarket wiring harnesses. I actually used the wiring harness that came from the Corvette, which was kind of tore up. I bought a IROC, 86 IROC, actually I think it was Z28, and used part of the harness from that, and then I used part of the harness from the original car. So it goes through the bulkhead where the original one did. I actually took out all the pins, put the new ones in there, so there's no extra holes in there. Even when I ran the alarm, I ran everything through the bulkhead connector, so there were no extra holes in the firewall. That was a little bit meticulous, a little crazy. I used all the factory accessories. That's why the power steering reservoir is over here. That's actually from the Corvette. Had some lines made up. And with the two different ratios that the cars were designed for, the power steering super easy to turn, which made it great when I was doing the Austin Powers trying to get it out of there. I didn't just stop at tossing a Corvette engine and trans in a station wagon. I actually upgraded quite a bit. It has a dual exhaust and it has aftermarket headers. They're Edelbrock headers. And at the time that I built this thing, we still had emissions. So it had to be emissions compliant. And since it did come with a 5.7, as long as the emissions out of this were lower than a 5.7, it would pass. So I had to have all the smog stuff. So Edelbrock actually made headers that would go on like a Monte Carlo, bolted right up. And I actually ran the air pollution lines from the Corvette, had everything hooked up. They changed the laws to make this emissions exempt. So I started taking it off of there and never finished. Never finished a lot of things in this car. So if I were to put it all back together, it would pass the emissions just like it did way back in the day. But since we don't have to do it, well, we're probably gonna take it out of there. I did plan on supercharging it at one point, but never got around to it. I put the aftermarket cooling fan in there, used all the original harnesses for the Corvette so that I could run my cooling fan. Radiator came out of a Trans Am, and it was brand new, but it fits a Trans Am, which slid right in there. Let's see what else is in here. I think that's pretty much it. Of course, you probably saw my IROC wheels. They were different colors. This side is gold, that side is gray. Planned on having them all powder coated when I painted the car, but well, I haven't got to it yet. Also on the list of things I haven't gotten to, it's putting the door handles in the other side. You probably saw them, they're boring, they're just the chrome bars. Well, these are flush mounted, and you'll never guess what they came out of. Did you guess Grand Am? Well, you'd be correct. And not the ones I normally work on. This is like a 95 era, but I have all the other ones for the other side, just never got around to it. It's on the list. So in addition to all the other stuff, we also did a little bit of interior work. Now, I'm not sure what you were expecting in here, but no, I didn't finish this either. We got Monte Carlo bucket seats and a Monte Carlo console. We put the shifter in here, so we have a floor shifter. And we put a Lumina steering wheel on here because our original one was cracked, much like our dash. So I believe, nope, I also put a tilt steering column because this one just had a regular straight column. So I did put a tilt steering column in here so that car thieves would have an easier time stealing it if they ever wanted to. If you don't know what I mean by making it easier for the car thieves, congratulations, you've never stolen an older GM car. But it was much easier on the tilt columns. I also got some Bonneville door cards and put the power windows and door locks out of that same Bonneville in this thing, because this car was, well, the old roll-up windows and the old door panels were all cracked. This car originally came from California, so the sun took a toll on it. It wasn't really rusty when I got it, but it definitely had some paint issues. Got our computer down here, antenna, and our custom wiring harness. Way back there, there's an external fuse box because I didn't have enough fuses in the original one, so I had to put some more back here. I think that's about it. Up here, yeah, Cassette player, Pioneer, definitely an upgrade. I don't know if I have any cassettes.
And I almost forgot, as I probably did with a lot of the other things I've done to this car, it also has a Monte Carlo SS gauge cluster.
See what we got back here. It's gonna stay up. Wow. Oh. Thought for a second it was gonna stay. An extra tailgate. We got a couple subs, 2 boxes with 212s, Rockford Fosgate punches, because, well, that was the thing to have back in the day. And we also had Phoenix Gold amps and EQs. Yeah, I was all set. The safety experts are always worried about my hearing with the air chisel. Ha! Little did I know I lost it a long time ago. Courtesy of Phoenix Gold and Rockford Fosgate. It also has a Grand National hood. Unfortunately, the body lines are not quite the same, so I'm probably just gonna get a regular Malibu hood eventually, if we ever decide to finish this thing up. Maybe a cowl induction one, something like that, rather than trying to make the header fit and the back of it sticks up too much back here. So yeah, it's not worth making it fit. You can sell the Grand National hood to somebody with a Grand National or regular Regal that wants to turn it into a Grand National. It definitely needs a paint job. It's not supposed to be dull like this. It used to be shiny silver at one point, but California sun just kind of ate it up.
So we took it down the street for a little rip. Didn't go very far because the alternator is intermittently charging. So rather than breaking down and having to push it home, I've pushed this thing enough. We're just going to let it sit. If we decide we want to drive it anymore, we'll fix that alternator. Much to the dismay of the clean freaks, we're not going to clean this thing up. It won't do any good. You can't just rinse it off. The paint is actually textured at this point. Besides, we don't want to disturb that barn find dust and decrease the value of this thing by, $100,000 or some nonsense like that. There's our hood that doesn't fit quite like it should in the back. And those body lines are all wrong in the front.
So that's it. That's my 82 Malibu wagon that sat in the corner for all these years. And no, I did not drag it out, get it running, and put it back in the corner and bury it. You saw me start it, and yes, it really only took a couple cranks to get it to fire up. I didn't even put any carburetor cleaner into the intake. And I was pretty sure it was going to start that way unless mice ate something, because the last time it sat for like 8 years, did the same thing. Bumped the key, started right up. So, I don't know. Maybe I kind of know what I'm doing when I build cars. So, like I said, I was doing fuel injection swaps before it was cool. So, I think we're going to stick it back in the corner for another decade or so and see if that gas will still start this thing. If you want to know anything else about it, leave me a comment and I'll reply to them if I can. If you want to see more on this car, let me know, and maybe it'll be my motivation to finally get it done. Or do a little more work at least on it. Probably still be done before the 65 Mustang, if we're being honest. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.